Lipstick again, and I am here to tell you about the books that I took on vacation. If you follow me on Instagram or you know me personally, then you know that me and my husband just went to New Orleans and we had a great time, but of course I had to take books with me at least for the car ride. Otherwise I didn't really read much because we were obviously out having a great time. But during the car ride I was reading, but I also get really sleepy on long car rides, so I actually only finished one book. But I did get about 50% into one of the other ones that I'm reading, and I read a little bit of the third one that I took with me. So the book that I actually finished was Tales from the Hinterland. You have seen this in a couple of my TBR videos. You'll also be seeing this in my May wrap-up video. I loved this just as much as I thought I would. I even sent a quote to my best friend that I share a blog with. We share the Lit Ladies 2020 on Insta. The Lit Ladies 2020 is our Instagram handle, and then we also have a blog. So I sent her a quote from this book that we'll probably post whenever I get around to writing that review to put on our blog. And she liked it. She was really intrigued and like a little bit creeped out, because if you're not aware, the nature of these stories is very dark and creepy. They are fairy tales, but like they're not your classic fairy tales. I think there is definitely some aspects to them that the writer like got from classic fairy tales, but like these are even creepier. Like they're creepier than Grimm's fairy tales, hands down, like way scarier, and some of those are pretty chilling. One of the quote that I sent my best friend was, I don't think I can find it in here. It was, when Alice was born, her eyes were black from end to end, and the midwife didn't stay long enough to wash her because she was like, that's the quote, but like the idea is the midwife didn't stay long enough to wash her because she was such a creepy child, and because once the child was born, it was very evident that she was not the king's daughter. The queen had slept with someone else, and so Alice was a bastard. Hence her strange looks. But these were fantastic. I love this author, Melissa Albert. I read the Hazelwood and the Night Country, and then this book is the stories of the characters from the other two books, like more of their backstories, because they like briefly mention a couple of them, like a couple like the really like big ones that are mentioned a lot. They like actually tell their stories in the book. So like obviously they tell Alice's story in the Hazelwood and a little bit in the Night Country, and a couple of the other ones like Twice Killed Catherine. They tell her story in the Hazelwood also, I believe, and like it's just, these are just great. Like these are a great companion book to have if you have the Hazelwood or the Night Country, because you can actually read those separately and like understand what's going on. But these would be a great companion to have, so that when they refer to any of those characters that they call stories, you can refer to their story and understand what the big deal is, because some of them like that they run into are really scary, and you're like, okay, but like why? Like tell me more. Like, so these can give you the backstory that you want, that I craved when I read those. And I loved this. Like I said, this is a soft touch cover, but it is hardcover, but like it just feels soft. And then also like it's illustrated and has pretty end papers. Like, I don't know if you can see, those are just gorgeous. It has the little like book plate where I put my stamp that it's from my library. This will never be leaving my library. And then of course it is illustrated, so at the beginning of each story it has an illustration. So, and then on like as you continue reading the story, it kind of has other illustrations, but like they're like the border of the pages, which I thought was really fun and creative. And because the stories are so dark and creepy, the like aesthetic of the illustrations is like black, red, white. I think there was one or two that were gold, very well written, and like concluded well too, like from start to finish of each story. Like it didn't feel like the writer left anything out. Like I really enjoyed that. Like they did a good job, like starting the story, the middle of the story, and then like the end. And like some of them left me wanting more, but it didn't feel like the story was unfinished or like it had any plot holes. So I really enjoyed this. Like I would even reread this, honestly, and I don't do that very often because there are so many things on my shelves that I haven't read, but I would totally reread this maybe around like Halloween. So definitely check that one out. The other like hardcover book that I took, I don't have the dust jacket on it, but it's the book of the month copy of The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. I am finally nearly halfway through. I only took this one like on a day trip that we took to Mobile. So like I didn't read it much. And like I said, I get really sleepy on long car rides, and we both enjoy like chatting back and forth while he drives. So I didn't read much of this one, but I am enjoying it so far. I'm gonna like knuckle down and finish it soon, but I have so many other things that I'm reading. Not aware, this book, all my souvenirs keep falling out. I tucked them in there. This book follows a girl named Addie Larue, who basically makes a deal with like some people are calling him a devil, some people are calling him like an evil spirit, but whatever this being is, he has the ability to grant wishes or make deals. But of course, with any kind of magic, any kind of like terrible magic, there is a price. And so she asks to have like basically like a never-ending life. And he says okay, but he says the catch is I'm going to take your name. And so she says, oh, that doesn't sound too bad, like it's just a name. And he's like, no, I'm gonna take your name. And but she doesn't like ask more questions, so she just goes with it. And it's fine until she like tries to go say goodbye to her family and tell them that she's gonna like travel the world and all of that stuff, and that she's sorry she like ran away for a little bit, but they don't recognize her. She is a stranger to them. And so she like introduces herself, but then they turn away and turn back again, and they have no idea who she is. And she realizes that applies to everyone that she meets. And she has indeed lived for a very long time, and I think the deal is she can live until she's ready to be done. So whenever that happens, she can just call that being and be like, okay, I'm ready. So at this point, like it keeps flipping back and forth between when she made the deal and everything in between until like whatever present day is. So it's a non-linear timeline, which can be confusing, but it does have like the date at the top, so you know what like part of her story you're following, if that makes sense. But it's all like fine until someone remembers her. Like he catches her stealing because she's had to steal to like survive and everything. But someone catches her and like knows, like remembers her, and so she's like very confused. I still don't know, like I said, I'm less than halfway through. So I don't know why he remembers her. I'm very intrigued. Like, maybe he's some sort of supernatural being himself, or maybe he is that being and he's playing a trick on her because he looks like that person. So I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. I also took my Kindle, and because I have a bunch of ARCs to catch up on, advanced readers copies, and I decided to focus on one ARC and then these 2 books, and I did finish Tales to the Hinterland, as I said. The goal was to finish all 3, if at possible, but that wasn't, because I kept falling asleep. But I also took my Kindle and I focused on She's Too Pretty to Burn, which I'll put the cover up when I edit. But it's She's Too Pretty to Burn by Wendy Hurd, which actually, like, I'm kind of glad that I waited so long to read it, because it is a LGBTQIA book, like, but it's also a mystery thriller. So it's a retelling of Dorian Gray, which I've not read, but I am enjoying this book. But it is like perfect for Pride Month. Like, it's awesome because the 2 main characters are gay. They're two young women, and basically one of them, who's supposed to be, I guess, the Dorian character, I think. Like I said, I haven't read Dorian Gray, but the one who is terrified and supposed to be Dorian is like terrified of having her picture taken, and her lover that she meets is a photographer and like sneaks a picture of her. This is set in present day, so she sneaks a picture of her girlfriend, the Dorian character, which is her name is Mick, and posts it to her Instagram, and it goes viral, which of course is horrifying to someone who is terrified of having their picture taken. But she kind of gets over it, but like she's still pretty upset, but she's starting to come to terms with it. And then but her girlfriend asks if it would be okay if she sends some more pictures of Mick, the Dorian character, to this magazine that contacted her, because the picture went viral and it is famous now, and her girlfriend is beautiful. And so that just kind of like sets her on edge again. And because she's literally like just finished venting to Veronica, her girlfriend, about how her mother wants her to be a model, and she does not want to be a model. She is terrified of having her picture taken, and it makes her feel disgusting. Like, she hates having her picture taken so much, doing things that are like kind of unnerving, like some self-harm. So like if that triggers you, do not read this, because she does self-harm a bit. Like, I've only come across that like once in the book so far, but like I was like, that's unsettling. Like,
time to eat.
Okay. It's dinner time. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that too. I'm about 50% in. But it's very, very good, and it's like a YA mystery thriller. So I know that somebody dies because or like somebody wants to kill one of them or both of them. Here is next. Because that was like the opening scene in the book, was like flash forward to this attempted murder that's about to happen, but then it like explains why for the rest of the book. So like I said, I'm really enjoying that so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was rambling. Yes, I'll have to edit a lot, but that's all. Enjoy this video, and I'll see you soon.